Hey friends, welcome or welcome back. My name is Kim, and I'm feeling a little bit nervous about this video. It's obviously going to be a TBR video. However, I have been a self-proclaimed mood reader for years. That is literally how I choose what to read. I pick books that just kind of I feel in the mood for. Do I feel like something dark and gritty? Do I feel like something a little just kind of turn off my brain? Do I feel like something very character heavy or plot heavy? That's literally how I've chosen what to read, what books I read next for years. However, this year I have been finding that I'm just kind of picking up whatever. My mood isn't really dictating what I am going to read. So I created a TBR jar. I'm hopping on the bandwagon. I just figured it'd be fun. I have a lot of really cool prompts in here, things that rely on my Storygraph TBR, my physical book TBR. The thing with this is that I'm still going to stay true to how I pursue this hobby. I utilize my library for basically, I don't know, I'd say like 98% of what I read, but I don't want to go out and buy books every month because, I don't know if I'm going to like the book, and books are very expensive, spending at least like $25 on a book. So all that to say that we are going to be perusing my library's website, doing it just the same as I would when I'm picking my next book to read. I'm going to be looking at the holds I have available at the library, the books that I've picked up from the library. We're going to be using, the library, because that is just how I go about my reading. And so that's why I'm a little nervous for this, because I don't know if this is going to work out. I don't know if this video is going to be just so absolutely chaotic, or if it's going to just so happen to come across somewhat organized. I don't really know, but I'm excited. And I think it'll kind of add a little bit of fun and flair to my content, but then also just like how my reading is directed. The other thing is that I'm also going to stay true to a little bit of mood reading, even though I know for the past quite a few months I haven't really been mood reading very much. I've just kind of been picking things up on a whim. But I only read about anywhere from like 4 to 6 books a month, so like 1 book a week. But to give myself some wiggle room in case I'm like, oh, I feel in the mood for this, I'm going to pick I think about 7 to 8 prompts from the TBR jar, knowing that I'm only going to be reading about 4, 5, 6 of those, right? And then the additional books that I've pulled are just kind of wiggle room to permit any mood reading if it just so happens to strike. Now, the other thing too with this month in May in particular is that I am currently in the middle of 2 books. I am about 30-ish% of the way into The Guest by B.A. Paris, and I'm about halfway through Entitlement by Rumin Alam. I'm enjoying both of those, and so obviously I'm going to carry those into May. So I'm going to pull maybe 4 or 5 prompts this month from the TBR jar. So all of that to say that I'm also going to take into consideration what books I'm currently reading going into the new month. Because very rarely am I not reading anything going into a new month. Normally there's something I've started in a previous month that's carrying over into the next month. So I think we've yapped enough, and I think I just need to stop avoiding this and just like jump right in. So let's go. Let's pull the first one. How do we want to do this? Should I clip this? Should I? Okay. Does that work? I don't really know. Okay. Anyways, all right, TBR jar. So, and I've shuffled them all up and everything already. So let's see. First one. Oh, okay. So you want to talk about race. Is that going to focus? So you want to talk about Race by Ijoma Olu. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. I have that book. That is on my physical TBR. I'll be right back. You guys can come with me. Or is it in this room? Is it on this shelf? Please be yes. All right. Okay, I didn't have to run up and down any stairs to go get it, which is awesome because I have a bookcase that's more just kind of like background in my office, and then I have a more kind of like full bookcase downstairs. So anyway, so you want to talk about race by Joma Ulu. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. I will figure out how to pronounce that correctly. But this is hard-hitting, user-friendly examination of race in America. Widespread reporting on aspects of white supremacy, from police brutality to the mass incarceration of Black Americans, has put a media spotlight on racism in our society. Still, it's a difficult subject to talk about. How do you tell your roommate his jokes are racist? Why did your sister-in-law take umbrage when you asked to touch her hair? And how do you make it right? How do you explain white privilege to your white privileged friends? This book guides readers of all races through subjects ranging from intersectionality and affirmative action to model minorities in an attempt to make the seemingly impossible possible. Honest conversations about race and racism and how they infect almost every aspect of American life. I think sounds really interesting and potentially quite impactful, and I'll probably learn a thing or two in here. So that is book one. All right. So one book pulled. Another one now. All right. Let's do this one. Okay. Ooh, I'm nervous. I don't know. This is so silly. All right. Oh, okay. A book with an element in the title: water, earth, fire, and wind. So a book with an element in the title. This is kind of fun. Hey, I don't know. You guys tell me. Okay, so I'm going to go to my library's website. I did get notified that I have a handful of books ready for me to pick up from the library. So let's see if any of those have an element in the title. This is so exciting. Is this how people normally feel doing TBR jars? Let me go peruse my physical TBR. I'll be right back. Okay, found a straggler on my hunt. However, none of the books that I own or that I have on hold at the library have an element in the title. And now my cat is sleeping on me. So, all right. So an element: water, earth, fire, wind. Water. Okay, let's just search the library website. Let's just look up the word water. Let's just see what comes up. Water, a visual and scientific history. No, thank you. I prefer something fiction. Water Moon. However, that's not available right now. The Covenant of Water. Isn't that a huge book? Because that is available in large print. Marcia Mueller, Circle in the Water. Okay, what is that about? I've never heard of it. There's a couple books with the title of Circle in the Water. But anyways, Marcia Mueller. Bueller. Wow, sounds messy. Okay, that is a possibility. Let's try a different element. Earth. Let's do fiction. Ooh, the Heaven and Earth grocery store. Ooh, that's available. All right, let's do it. I'm number 3 in line. Hang on a second. Am I not going to get it? Oh, this one looks cool. October in the Earth. Olivia Hawker. It's a historical fiction. Oh, this sounds really interesting, actually. You know what? We'll see if Heaven and Earth becomes available, because it was like your number 3 in line. So the book may be available to me, but I think there's 3 other people. Anyways, it looked available. Let's do this one. This one sounds really interesting and a little outside of my comfort zone. I don't always lean towards historical fiction, but heck it, let's do it. So this came out in 2023. This is from Olivia Hawker, October in the Earth. It is, according to the Storygraph AI overview, October in the Earth is ideal for readers who enjoy emotional, character-driven stories about resilience and self-discovery set against vivid historical backdrops. All right, so Den Wensley, wife of the most celebrated preacher in Harlan County, tries to mind her place until her husband's infidelity pushes an already strained marriage to the breaking point. Clinging to her last hope for self-respect, Dell turns her back on the rigid life she's known. A coal train is rolling through the valley. With her eyes wide open to the unfamiliar and to the freedom she craves, Dell takes to the rails. Rumbling across America, Dell is soon drawn into a transient community among outcasts, and finds a special friend in Louisa Trout. A nomadic single mother, Louisa teaches Dell the ways of the boxcars and promises to help her reach a migrant enclave where Dell can learn the skills she'll need to survive. But as they move forward together under desperate circumstances, even the closest of bonds threatens to break. With the depression taking its toll, Dell must gather her strength and faith. As she carries on towards one unknown after another, her life becomes a fulfilling, sometimes dangerous, and exhilarating adventure, but no matter the risks, it's a life she alone controls. I think that sounds really interesting, so we'll see. I'm so happy that so far this TBR jar experience has exposed me to books that maybe I am not familiar with or haven't heard, like that's not even on my radar in any way. So we'll add that to my Storygraph TBR and we'll carry on. So 2 books on the go. So you want to talk about race and October in the Earth. So let's pick another one. All right. Okay. Shake it up a bit. It's not really shaking. They're all so compact in here. Okay. Oh God. Oh, sorry guys. Kept that out of the view. Made some spillage. A red cover. Maybe red on the cover or a purely red cover. And I know just the book. And it's one from my, well, hang on, actually. Again, one of the books that I have on hold may have red on the cover. And there's actually quite a few books that my library's told me, hey, it's available for you to pick up. But one of those is The Serpent Called Mercy. So this has some red dragons on the cover. So this one is a fantasy. It came out in March of this year. This one has Lithlet and Dessel signed up as conquestors, where they battle beasts in an arena in the seedy underworld. And this was one of the things that really drew to me because it was like, okay, seedy underworld, this could be very gritty, very dark. So it has the potential to have a really good atmosphere and tone to it already. Dothilos is a match master and takes Lilith under his wing, scorning Dessel, so prefers one individual over the other. Lilith has to play politics and deception, and her ambition has costs, and she has to decide if sacrificing her friendship is really worth it, and that's her friendship with Dessel. So this has red on the cover, and I'm excited to read it. I could be in the mood for fantasy, so we'll count this as one. Let's pick another. A little faux shake. This is exciting. I don't know why. This is like, is it dopamine that my brain is releasing right now? I don't really know. Okay, so we picked one. Let's see. Ooh, read a book you haven't heard about, i.e. new to you. Read a book I haven't heard about, i.e. new to you. So a couple of the books that I have pulled already fit this prompt. One being October in the Earth by Olivia Hawker, and then The Serpent Called Mercy by Roan Lau. So I feel like I could try to find another book on my library's website. Should we do that? That would be fun. Let's just pick one. All right, let's go browse and we'll do books. Let's see. Oh, The License of War by Claire Letamendia. Let's see. This looks like a potentially steamy book. Hopefully it's not a book in a series. Oh, it's number 2, 600 pages. I don't know, guys. So read a book you haven't heard about, i.e. new to you. I mean, technically, I have 2 books I haven't heard about that are kind of like new to me that I'll be reading. There's a book called Feral Attraction by Eileen Watkins. It's got a cat in like a shower cap on the cover. I don't think that will be it. Okay, Bret Easton Ellis. Now, I haven't read anything from Bret Easton Ellis, I don't think. Salt and Broom. Is this a YA? I don't want to read a YA. Ooh, Salt and Broom is ideal for readers who enjoy atmospheric, witchy retellings of classic literature that blend slow burn romance with supernatural intrigue. Are we intrigued? I think so. A gifted healer unravels the mysteries of a cursed estate and its enigmatic owner, a witchy retelling of Jane Eyre. I haven't read Jane Eyre. I don't know if that's like blasphemous in this bookish community. I don't really know. But this sounds really interesting. Okay. So this is Salt and Broom by Sharon Lynn Fisher. I have never heard of this book, nor this author. It's under 300 pages at 282 pages. It's a fiction that's shelved on Storygraph. Fiction, fantasy, historical, romance. It's got a little bit of everything. All right, this is the synopsis. I don't always love it when people just read directly off of synopsises in videos because you could easily just go and look it up. But since I have never heard of this book, we are just going to do that. And hopefully you don't mind. Trunks packed with potions and cures, Jane Eyre sets out on a crisp, clear morning in October to face the greatest challenge of her sheltered girls' school existence. A shadow lies over Thornhill Hall and its reclusive master, Edward Rochester, and he's hired her only as a last resort. All right, I'm a little confused. Jane stumbles again and again as she tries to establish a rapport with her prickly new employer, but he becomes the least of her worries as a mysterious force seems to work against her. The threats mount around both Jane and Rochester, who's becoming more intriguing and appealing to her by the day. Jane begins to fear her herb healing and protective charms may not be enough to save the man she's growing to love from a threat darker and more dangerous than either of them imagined. I don't know, that sounds really interesting. Shall we do it? Okay, we'll add it to our Storygraph TBR. We'll add it to Up Next. And we'll place it on hold. 1 copy available at the library. This is so exciting. I'm like, this is really cool. Okay, cool. Let's pick one more from the jar. Are you guys having fun? I'm having fun. I don't know, this is really cool. Okay, let's do one more. All right. Let's get right in there. Okay. Plop that back in there. All right, this is Rich People Problems by Kevin Kwan. All right, that's on my physical TBR. I'll be right back. All right, folks, Rich People Problems, Kevin Kwan. I think of all the books this month, I am least excited about this one, but could be in the mood for it. I hauled this almost at the end of last summer from a little free library. And basically, what is this one about again? All right, Nicholas Young hears that his grandmother Su Yi is on her deathbed. He rushes to be by her side, but he's not alone. The entire Shangyang family, or Shangyang clan, has convened, wow, from all corners of the globe to stake claim to their matriarch's massive fortune. With each family member vying to inherit Tyrosell Park, a trophy estate on 64 prime acres in the heart of Singapore, Nicholas's childhood home turns into a hotbed of backbiting and intrigue. As Su Yi's relatives fight over heirlooms, Astrid Lung is at the center of her own storm, desperately in love with her old sweetheart Charlie Wu, but tormented by her ex-husband, a man hell-bent on destroying Astrid's reputation and relationship. So I don't really need to read the rest of the synopsis. It sounds like family drama. It's a sweeping tale that takes us from the elegantly appointed mansions of Manila to the secluded private islands of Sulu Sea, from a kidnapping at Hong Kong's most elite private school to a surprise marriage proposal at an Indian palace that is caught on camera by telephoto lenses of paparazzi. Kevin Kwan hilariously reveals the long-buried secrets of Asia's most privileged families and their rich people problems. Okay, so right now we have technically as unread books 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Shall we pick one more? I'm I'm enjoying this too much. This is fun. I hope you guys aren't bored with this. I'm having a lot of fun doing it, and I think that that's the important part, especially when it comes to like content making and stuff. So got to keep it fresh. All right. The last one. This is the last one, I promise. All right. First, ooh, fun. First book listed on the pub date earliest on my Storygraph TBR. All right. Cool. I'm excited. Okay, so basically when I was creating my TBR jar, I was like, I'm so neglectful of my Storygraph TBR. I almost never look back at it. And I just keep plunking books onto my Storygraph TBR. And then yeah, I just never reference it again. So when I was creating this TBR jar, I was like, okay, I want to make sure that I am referencing my virtual TBR, right? Okay, let's go to my TBR and Storygraph. And this is pub date earliest. So this is going to be an old book. Also, a big caveat with all of this is if it's even available to me through the library. So this is all fine and dandy. I can pick a book where the pub date was earliest, but if it's not available to me through the library, like the earliest one, we're just going to kind of keep going till we find one that's available. So Little Women is the oldest, or with the earliest pub date. However, I doubt it's available through my library. Like, highly, highly doubt. Oh, why are there so many versions? There's an ebook. Oh, this looks like a kid's book. There's so many versions of this. Oh, it's on Libby. Okay, yeah. This title is always available. Interesting. Okay, well, let's hope that this edition is the one that I want. So we'll check that out because I have Libby, obviously. See, this is confusing. This title is always available on Libby, but aren't there only so many licenses for books? Anyways, so I think now we've got a good amount of books going. So we got those 3, Little Women, and then these 2. So that's 6. And then there's the ones that I currently have on the go. And that is Entitlement and The Guest by B.A. Paris. So a good variety, I think. Hopefully this wasn't too chaotic. Okay. Well, what are the rules moving forward? Like if I don't read Rich People Problems this month by Kevin Kwan, should I put it back into the jar and just kind of like keep pulling it? Yeah, we could do that. Like I can make my own rules for this. Like I could give it like a 2-pull maximum. And if I don't read it after the second pull, then I just donate it back to the little free library. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I'm getting way ahead of myself. This was so much fun. I don't know why I was so nervous. I definitely have some books ready to be checked out for my library that I feel really excited to read. Got a few books on here that I literally have never even heard of. So that's exciting as well. Let me know your thoughts if you enjoyed following along with me doing a TBR jar for the first time ever. Tell me of all the books that I had pulled, which one do you think I will enjoy the most this month? Place your bets, I suppose. Thank you so much for watching, especially all the way to the end of what I'm sure is going to be a very chaotic video. Best of luck to future Kim with editing this. So, but yeah, thank you so much for watching and for hanging out a little bit. I do hope you're enjoying what you're reading, and I will see you in the next video.